Hey, it's Sarah from Made on the Comment, and this is one of the videos in my series on how to use your Etsy bookkeeping template. And in this one, I'm going to talk you through your Etsy payment account sheet. So how to find your data on Etsy, how to download it onto your computer, and then adding it into the template. And I'll also cover some of the areas that can sometimes cause a bit of difficulty, particularly if you're based outside of the US, some of the date and kind of currency formatting things that can sometimes go wrong. So the first thing we need to do is go over to Etsy and find your data file. So to do this, we want to go into Etsy, go to your shop manager, go down to finances, and you'll see payment account and monthly statements. So I'd like to do it on monthly statements. It takes you to almost exactly the same screen. The only difference is that you get this kind of nice month and year selector on the top of the screen. And that just helps you kind of navigate to the right month that you want to download, particularly if you need to do quite a few months. So you can only download 1 month at a time, unfortunately, so you just need to literally click on each one and do it. So the first time you kind of go into a month, scroll down and you will see a button here called Generate CSV. You click that and it will kind of generate the report within Etsy. You also get an email once it's kind of run just to tell you that it's ready to download. If I just go back to a previous month's January, I've actually already generated this. So you can see it's changed here now to download CSV, and it tells you when you last generated it. So you can see I've been doing a few today. So if I want to download my January data, now I've got this here. I just click download CSV. Depending on which browser you're using, it will kind of pop up in different places on your screen. I'm doing this in Chrome, and so I get mine appearing down here in the bottom left. Each file kind of tells you, you can see they're popping up, it tells you the year and the month. So that says 2022 _1 to tell me it's January, the first month. 5 just means I've actually downloaded this file 5 times already, so there you go. But that's all you need to do. That will probably then appear in your downloads folder on your computer. Now I'd always recommend saving these files into a folder that you kind of know where they are. So I normally set up a folder called Etsy payment statements, and then you can have all of the months in there, and you can always go back to them if you need them. I would always recommend saving the files, particularly if you've used the template to do your tax reporting. Etsy do sometimes change things, so if you go back and re-download a file, it might look slightly differently to how it did or how you thought it did when you did it last time. I had this myself this year, so files that I downloaded in January, February for the start of this year have now changed slightly if I download them again now. And that's because they seem to have moved some of the fees and the costs out of this fee and tax column here into the amount column, which did cause a few difficulties for the bookkeeping template. So I would always recommend just saving the one that you've used to do particularly your tax reporting. Anyway, now that we've got it downloaded, I'll show you how to open this up and add it into your template. Okay, so you can see here I've got 3 files downloaded. So I've got January, March and May. The numbers after them, again, like I said, just signify that you've already downloaded it before, and it's probably sat in this folder somewhere, again, which is why I'd recommend putting them into a separate folder. So to open them, the easiest way is just to go, this is from the File Explorer. If I want to open up January's, just literally double click on it and it should open up in your spreadsheet program. So you can see it opens up and puts it into columns. Now, the first thing that might go wrong is that it doesn't open into columns, that it just opens up and looks like a big mess of data. If that happens, check out my troubleshooting video on how else you can open them up in your spreadsheet. I'll put a link to it below kind of this video, so it's down below. But hopefully we've got this open. If you can see here the dates kind of look all corrupted. Don't worry about that. Just hover between the A and B column until you see this thick black line here, and just drag your column a little bit wider. It literally just means that it can't display the data, so it's nothing to worry about. And hopefully your data will appear and those dates will look like proper dates. and we can then copy and paste it in. So you should have a few different columns. This always starts with date and goes across to net. When we copy the data in, we always want to start from the row below the headers. So normally row 2. We don't need these header columns because they're already in the template. And what I'd recommend you do as well is just open up the template. So if I look here, I've got the template open here. Like I said, these columns here will be exactly the same as on those data, the data you've just downloaded. The actual column may differ. You always want to look for the date column, but I'll show you that in a second as we go back. So from your data, you want to highlight and just select all of this data. There's a few ways to do it. You can use your mouse, which I'm doing here, and just literally keep scrolling until you get to the bottom of your data. If I go up to the top, the easiest way I find is actually to use your keyboard. So if you click on A2, hold down your Shift button on your keyboard, use the arrows to go across. I'm just using my keyboard here. Go across and then press End and then down, the down arrow, and it will automatically take you to the bottom. So it's just a much quicker way of doing it. To copy, again, there's a few different ways to get to copy. You can right click on your mouse and you see copy here. You can go to home, and again, that's the copy. Doesn't actually say copy, but that's copy. Or you can press Control and C together and that will automatically copy it off your keyboard. And you get the little dotted line, so that shows that it selected it and copied it. You then want to go to your template. So once we're in the template, you always want to look for this date column. So the column will actually vary depending on which template you're using. Some of them have more kind of formulas built in here. Again, like I say, it depends on which version you've got. In this case, it would be G2. Yours might be over here in L2, but you're always wanting the cell under date. So that's kind of the black columns. The blue and kind of grey columns are always formulas. Don't overwrite those. The templates kind of need all of those columns. So go under the date column. You can overwrite, if there's one line of data in here, overwrite that. That's just kind of example data that's there as a placeholder. And then paste. Again, you can right click and go to paste there, or if you like using keyboard shortcuts, you would just do Control and V. All does exactly the same thing. Once that data is copied in, you should see the year and month column in here pop up, as does the fee type should populate based on the data that you've added. When we come to the next month, if you press End and down, it will take you to the bottom. You want to go to the next blank cell. So if I was copying in, say, February data, I would go there and I would go home and paste again. And assuming that was February data, that would then populate in there. Obviously, I don't want to do that. And you can just keep doing that all the way down the page. The Google Sheets versions, you might need to insert more rows, and you might then need to copy this formula down. To do that, you would just literally highlight the last row in there, and you can just drag it down. If you're using Excel, it should expand automatically, and the formulas should automatically populate, so hopefully that will all work well. If not, again, I cover that in the troubleshooting notes if you need to add some more rows in. I think that's it on copying in. So things that might not work properly. The first thing to check is that the year and month have populated correctly. So this will pick up the year, so 2022, and the month is January. So month 1 for January, month 2 for February, obviously. If they don't appear properly, or if you get a kind of a hashtag value sign in there, it means that the dates aren't getting recognised by your spreadsheet, particularly in Excel. It doesn't seem to happen so much in Google Sheets. I've got a couple of troubleshooting videos that will walk you through how to fix that and kind of troubleshoot those dates. So I will link to those below this video in case you need them. The other thing that might not work properly is over here. So the last 3 columns are your values. So the amount is normally just your sale, fees and taxes is obviously all of the fees that Etsy have charged, and the net is just the net of both of those added together. If you're in Canada, you may well see CA and a $sign in front of your numbers. If you're in Australia, you get an AU and a $sign. If that happens, then Excel or Google Sheets will not be able to read those as numbers. And when you come to the Etsy summary sheet, you'll have nothing in there. You need to kind of fix that. And again, I've got a troubleshooting video that shows you how to do that. It's very easy. We just need to basically remove them from all of the cells, which is really quick, don't worry. The way to check is just highlight some of the numbers in there. And if you scroll down here, you should see sum, and it's added them together for 4431. If you don't get a sum, then it probably means that they're being read as text. So like I say, I would check out the troubleshooting. But that tends to be the main problems. It's either a date issue. If you're in the US, luckily you shouldn't have any date issues. But you do get them, particularly in Canada actually, and sometimes in the UK. You get issues with the number formatting. Again, it's just because of how Etsy kind of download their data. So that's everything that you need to worry about on the Etsy payment account. And those figures should then automatically feed into the Etsy summary. If we click on there very briefly, you should start seeing numbers appearing into there. I'll talk you through this in a bit more detail in another video. But the next thing we need to do is add in your order file information, because this is how we get the shipping income if you charge shipping separately, and also if you have sales tax that you need to report on your figures. That also comes from the order file, so we need that information. If you're using the VAT registered template, then it's actually the order item file we need, because we have to go down to item level, but I'll cover both of those in the next video.